Today, we are going to address one of the most frequently asked questions from applicants and scholars. But before we do that, I'd like to say a very big thank you to everyone who has been following G.W.O, who has been subscribing to our channel, sharing our videos, liking, and also commenting. Your support means a lot to us. And as such, we're not going to stop at being your best source of educational content on this planet Earth. Thank you once again for all the support and the feedback. Keep them coming in. So, as I said, today we're going to address one of the most frequently asked questions from applicants and scholars. Now, the major question we are going to tackle in this video is, can I be on multiple scholarships simultaneously? We've noticed that a lot of students want to take two or more scholarships. But now the big question is it really good to do that? Or is it supported by the awarding organizations to do that? We are going to answer this question in this very video. I would encourage you to stay tuned till the end of this video and let us know in the comment section if you have any questions and you haven't yet subscribed, kindly do so. So let's get started. Now, this question is particularly important as it relates to the common concern of balancing the desire for financial support with the rules and restrictions established by the scholarship providers. So, in this presentation, I will offer a comprehensive overview applicable to scholarships at all levels, be it local, national, or international. So we will examine whether holding multiple scholarships is one, permissible. We would also emphasize the importance of reviewing terms and conditions since the permissibility of holding multiple scholarships is found in the terms and conditions. That is to say that in this video, we will also uncover the terms and conditions of applying for scholarships. We would also identify common clauses. We would explore the reasons for restrictions imposed by providers so as to give you a better understanding of why it is good or not good to hold multiple scholarships. Not only that, we are also going to consider exceptions such as bursaries. If you don't know what bursaries are, this is the right moment for you to stay glued to your screens as we'll be discussing that in just a bit. We're also going to discuss ethical considerations and analyze the specific implications for international scholarships as well. The objective is to provide a thorough reference to guide you so you can make informed and prudent decisions. So if you're ready, let us proceed step by step. So firstly, the straightforward answer regarding the possibility of holding multiple scholarships concurrently largely depends on the specific regulations of each program or the specific regulations of each awarding organization. In many instances, such arrangements are either prohibited or subject to substantial restrictions. Scholarships are intended to offer financial assistance to students who meet particular criteria. Now, some of these criteria may include academic excellence, financial need, or specific backgrounds, and are funded by diverse sources. So the scholarships in question are funded by diverse sources. These diverse sources include governments, corporations, foundations, or educational institutions. Due to the finite nature of these funds, providers often implement policies to prevent an individual from receiving more than their equitable share. Nonetheless, this does not constitute an absolute prohibition. Some programs or awarding organizations explicitly permit multiple scholarships under certain circumstances, while others require full disclosure during application. It is essential to investigate each scholarship individually, as eligibility for one program may disqualify participation in another. Now, the information on whether the holding of multiple scholarships is permissible by an organization in question is subjected to the clauses stated in the terms and conditions. So this leads us to the discussion on the terms and conditions of scholarship programs. Now, the terms and conditions are essential to review in detail before applying or accepting any award. These documents outline the full scope of the agreements between you and the provider, acting as a contract that spells out your obligations and the consequences of non-compliance. Now, skipping this step is one of the biggest mistakes students make. It can lead to unexpected issues like having to repay funds, losing eligibility for future aid, or even facing academic penalties. Always access the official guidelines from the program's website or application portal. And if anything is unclear, reach out to their support team for clarification. Reading thoroughly ensures you understand the fine print and can align your applications accordingly. Let me give you an example. For instance, you might discover requirements for maintaining a certain academic performance level or restrictions on how the funds can be used, helping you avoid pitfalls and build a stronger overall strategy for your funding. So the terms and conditions outlines the details, all the important things you need to know about the scholarship you are accepting. And as I stated earlier, this is where you would find the information as to whether it is permissible by the awarding organization to hold multiple scholarships or not. So let me give you another clear example so you can understand this better. For instance, some organizations like the MasterCard Foundation explicitly prohibits recipients from holding concurrent scholarships. They state it emphatically in their terms and conditions. So when applying for the MasterCard Foundation scholarship, if you do not read the terms and conditions, you wouldn't know this. Now, similarly, the MTN Brights Foundation mandates, as per their scholarship portal, that an applicant who enjoys any other form of educational scholarship should not apply. Now, how would you know this if you do not read the terms and conditions? So that is to say that if you are already awarded another scholarship such as Get Fund, you would be ineligible for the MTN Bright Scholarship and vice versa. So you see, it's very important that you read the terms and conditions before applying, as it will not only expose whether holding multiple scholarships is permissible, but it will also expose other things. Now, speaking of other things, I would like to share with you the most typical clauses, or let's say the most typical information that is found in the terms and conditions. It's imperative that we do it right now since we are mentioning it over and over again. So let me begin with just a few, about 7. You would see it in almost every terms and condition. That doesn't mean that since I'm sharing it, do not read the terms and conditions. Please read the terms and conditions of any scholarship when you apply for the scholarship in question. So number 1, the eligibility criteria. Now, these often include requirements like citizenship or residency status, enrollment in an accredited institution, and minimum grade points average or test scores, demonstrated financial needs that is backed by documentation like income statements, and sometimes preference for certain fields of study, demographics, or extracurricular involvement. So this is not the first time we've mentioned eligibility criteria. If you'd notice, all the videos we do, we mention eligibility criteria. We've also spoken about the 10 nevers, and in that we talk about knowing the eligibility criteria. You would find this explicitly stated in the terms and conditions. So the second thing you are likely to find in the terms and conditions is the exclusivity or disclosure. This is very important. Many programs state that recipients cannot hold other similar awards concurrently, or they must report any additional funding sources upfront. Failure to disclose can result in disqualifications. Very soon, we would understand why they set rules like this. But briefly, sometimes your disclosure of your holding of a particular or a similar award or something would not disqualify you from the scholarship you're applying for. It will rather give the people, the awarding organization, an idea as to how to fund you. They are making education accessible to everyone. So if you are holding a scholarship and you do not let the awarding organization know, you are not being fair to another applicant who may have no scholarship at all. So your disclosure does not necessarily disqualify you unless otherwise stated under the exclusivity or disclosure rules of a particular awarding organization. So I hope the understanding is coming. Let's move on. Award duration and renewal of terms is one of the clauses that you will find in the terms and conditions. Now, scholarships might be one-time payments or renewable for multiple years. My question to you is, the scholarship you just applied for or the scholarship you won, do you know whether you would have to renew it every year or it goes for the rest of your stay in the university or the senior high school, whichever place the scholarship applies? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So you need to know the renewal terms. Sometimes too, the renewal terms depends on meeting ongoing conditions, such as satisfactory academic progress or submitting progress reports. So sometimes you have to meet certain criteria. Some organizations would even want you to volunteer monthly. And you have to provide evidence of your volunteering. And that is what will qualify you for a renewal. Some organizations too would rather you apply again the following year in order to gain the scholarship. So you need to know the renewal terms and conditions. Now, there's also the permitted use of funds. See, the money is usually restricted to educational expenses like tuition, fees, books, housing, or supplies. So if you start using it for your own personal or whatever business gains, meanwhile, the funds allocated is not for that, you will be in trouble when they find out. And it's always important to tread cautiously when you gain a scholarship. So once again, terms and conditions is important. Another thing that you are likely to see in the terms and conditions is the monitoring and reporting requirements. So let me explain that. Recipients may need to provide periodic updates like transcripts or financial statements to verify compliance. So for some organizations, day by day or yearly, monthly, whatever, they would want to assess the financial needs or your financial needs. So as time goes on, you'd have to keep providing them with certain documents like your bank statement so that they can know whether there's an improvement in your finances or not. So they can gear the funds to people who need the money more. Do you understand? Good. And sometimes too, as I stated, they want to know how you are doing in school. So you would have to provide your transcripts periodically. So you need to know it. It's important. And this would even help you work harder once you get the scholarship. Another thing that you have to pay attention to, and you are likely to find in most terms and conditions, is the repayment or revocation clauses. As the name suggests, if you withdraw from your program, change measures without approval, or breach any terms, you could be required to return the funds. This is key. Most people don't know this. So they take a scholarship, later change their measures or their course, later change their programs, and when the awarding organization finds out, they are asked to return the funds. So you need to know what's in the terms and conditions. The seventh one, which is going to be the final thing we are going to talk about as far as the terms and conditions is concerned, is the ethical integrity standards. Applications must be honest. There are, however, severe penalties for misrepresentation. I believe you've heard some of the stories before where people were imposters. They used other people's results to apply, and later on, the awarding organization found out. So such people will go through severe penalties for misrepresentation. Now, misrepresentation in its totality includes false information or documents. So make sure that you are always being sincere. You are upholding the integrity standards. it's key. So all these clauses we have discussed help ensure that scholarships achieve their intended purpose of supporting deserving students without waste or abuse. So they set all these measures in place to regulate the affairs of awarding scholarships. And while variation exists, it is important that you familiarize yourself with these terms and conditions, as it will make you a successful applicant or scholar. So you need to pay attention to the terms and conditions. Now, let's get back to the main thing here. Why do most scholarship providers discourage or prohibit scholars from holding multiple awards at once? I believe you may have some answers, but let me break things down for you. There are several logical and ethical reasons rooted in the core mission of these awarding organizations. So the reasons why some organizations put these restrictions there is embedded in their core mission. So let's talk about it. First and foremost, it's about equitable distribution of limited resources. Some awarding organizations put that at heart. That is their main aim of even existing in the society. They want to share limited resources equitably. So scholarship funds, as we all know, they are infinite. They come from budgets and could otherwise support more students if spread out. If one person stacks several awards, it might mean others in greater need go without, which undermines the goal of broadening access to education. So you can look at a foundation like MasterCard. Their major aim is to spread education across the continents and beyond, if there's any beyond. So imagine you are holding another scholarship and you're applying for the MasterCard Foundation scholarship. It means that once you get the MasterCard Foundation scholarship, someone who seriously needs it will not get it, which breaches the core mission of the MasterCard Foundation. I hope this example explains it to you. So you see, another second thing is that many scholarships are need-based. So allowing multiples could suggest the recipient isn't as financially strained as others, potentially skewing the selection process. So you see, you may be holding a scholarship, and that scholarship provides for your tuition, your books, your feeding, and many other things. So in a nutshell, that expression shows that you are no more financially needy because another organization is taking care of you. So once you take another one, it means that you are adding when others are lacking, and those resources must go to those who are lacking, those who are in need. Do you get it? So sometimes organizations may put these restrictions there so that you cannot hold more than one scholarship. Now, the third reason is there's a focus on preventing overfunding, where a student receives more money than necessary for their cost, which could lead to insufficiencies or reduced accountability. Administratively, tracking multiples adds complexity, increasing the risk of errors or fraud detection challenges. These restrictions help maximize the impact of the funding, ensuring it reaches a diverse group of deserving individuals and aligns with the provider's objectives, whether that's promoting diversity, innovation, or social mobility. Every organization has their reason for putting this particular restriction on their scholarship. Now, how do you find out? It is by going through their vision and mission. Then later on, you check through the terms and conditions to understand them better. That said, there are notable exceptions where holding multiple scholarships is permissible or even encouraged, particularly with bursary programs. Now, the almighty bursary programs. Not long ago, we did a short video on that bank bursary program, right? Most of you were asking, what does bursary mean? What's the meaning of bursary? Isn't it a scholarship? Or what about it? We are going to talk about it shortly. Okay. So bursaries are typically smaller, targeted grants that provide partial stress on partial support for specific needs like books, travel, or single terms expenses rather than comprehensive coverage. I believe this gives you an idea of why bursaries have notable exceptions where holding multiple scholarships is permissible or even encouraged. Do you get it? So, in these cases, applicants might be allowed to apply for additional scholarships once the bursary period concludes or if the provider explicitly states that supplementary funding is okay, especially if the bursary doesn't cover all costs. So I believe you are getting a little confused here. So let me give you an example. Some bursaries are designed as top-up aid, meaning they are intended to complement other sources. And their terms might include language like this award can be held alongside other funding as long as total support does not exceed your demonstrated expenses. So once you see this, you should understand that the bursary is just a top-up opportunity, or let's say top-up aid. So this flexibility arises because bursaries often address gaps in funding and providers recognize that no single award might suffice for all students' needs. Even with the bursaries we are talking about, honesty is very, very, very crucial. Always disclose them in other applications to maintain transparency and avoid any potential conflicts. So once you are holding a bursary or maybe you are holding another scholarship and you're going to apply for another scholarship, you need to disclose it so that you don't have any problems with anyone. Now, your question is, what about international scholarships? Can one be on multiple international scholarships at the same time? So the principles here are similar to those in the domestic context, that is, the ones we've already discussed, but with some additional nuances due to cross-border factors. In general, yes, it is often possible for students to hold multiple international scholarships simultaneously, provided the terms of each allow it and you disclose everything during the application process. So you see, a lot of answers here still pointing to the truth. So let's wrap up. Remember, you can apply for multiple scholarships at the same time. But when you secure one you applied for, kindly leave the rest of the opportunities for others as well. Others need aid, others need help. So you need to give the opportunity for others to also get the aid and help you are receiving. So yes, it's okay. You can, when you see the opportunities, apply. Because yes, you might never know which one will go in for you. But if you get two scholarships at the same time, you can decline one based on your needs. Then you take the other, so that another person too can get the opportunity. And sometimes when you're even applying, some application forms will tell you that notify them if you are already applying for another scholarship. They want to know. It may not necessarily disqualify you, but to maintain transparency, just go according to the rules. And once again, I'll encourage you to read the terms and conditions. If you didn't get anything, you know that you're at liberty to scroll forward or backwards so that you can get all the information again. So a total answer to the question is yes, it is permissible, and no, it isn't permissible, based on the explanations I've given thus far. Once the awarding organization's terms and conditions states that it is not permissible to hold two scholarships simultaneously, then do not do otherwise. If it gives you the go ahead,
Two
then you
or
are at
more
liberty to hold.
scholarships.
So, thank you for watching the video till the end, and I hope it helped you. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments section. Do well to share this video to people whom you think might need this information because it's very important. Scholarships give you the opportunity to help yourself financially, but then again, it could end up being your worst nightmare if you do not take into consideration the terms and conditions, specifically whether you are allowed to hold multiple scholarships simultaneously or not. Thank you all once again, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.